Hello and welcome to another video. Today we are drawing figures again, and you guys have probably read the title and you know that the reason that we're drawing figures is because I failed at drawing landscapes. So let's just go ahead and talk about that a bit. So I talked about this earlier in the week, or maybe it was last week, that I wanted to try and draw landscapes for this study and also some buildings because I don't know how to draw buildings. I don't know how to draw trees, and I wanted to get some practice in. So I did do some drawings of some landscapes, and I did a couple of drawings of some buildings type things, and they really fucking sucked. I'm gonna go ahead and put up a picture for you guys right now of the studies that I was doing. I was doing time studies just because I was like, well, I do time study for figures, so I should do time studies for the other stuff. I'm using line of action for those landscape studies like I always do, just because I noticed that they have stuff for buildings and landscapes, and I was like, cool. So I'm gonna use their website too. And so the issue is that I don't know how to draw landscapes or cityscapes or anything, right? And obviously that's why I'm trying to learn. But when I put them on a time drawing, I think I started with a minute because I was like, well, I don't really know how to do it, so I'm gonna do it a minute, and that's fine, right? But when I actually got into doing the studies, it was like my whole brain shut down. I was like, I was stun locked, you guys. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. The first one I did was that one in the top left. It's like, it was a bunch of, it was like a rock pile. It was kind of like, like the edge of like a river type thing, or like like a lake where like all the rocks collect, and it was like, draw these rocks, and I was like, uh how do you draw rocks? And I was like, and I was doing it in like a really simple style, right? It's just my pen and ink that I usually do. Not ink, my pen and my normal watercolor brush pens I was planning on using. But I was like, I don't know what to do here. I just draw circles, but the shapes of the rocks are not circles. The shapes of the rock are like jagged a little bit. And so I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And so I was just drawing it as quickly as I could and trying to figure it out. But I was like, this is not working. This is not working. It's coming out really bad. And so I think what it is the reason I was freaking out is because landscapes and figures are like so different. I don't know how to build the shapes for landscapes yet because I'm so used to figures. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna start blocking out shapes like I normally do when I draw figures. But the shapes are not the same, obviously. And also, there's also the fact that since this is not real life, it actually comes out a little bit more flat in the photo. Not that people don't come out more flat in photos when you take pictures of them for reference, but I feel like, I don't know, something about the landscape, it was just is much flatter than normal in my mind. Like, I think I'm a little bit better at thinking about humans in 3D form than I am landscapes in 3D form. And then also, I got past that one with the rocks, and I was like, okay, maybe the next one's gonna be better. And then I got the one that is like, it was like a field, and there were trees in the background, but I wasn't really worried about the trees. It was the foreground with all of the grass, which is the one on the top right. It was like really thin grass. It was like kind of like weeds, and I was like, what the fuck? I don't know what to do for that. How do you draw that with a pen? And I feel like maybe it would have been easier if I had like a pencil, like graphite, and then I could just like, I could like shade it in, and then I could like erase like the sorts of the grass out so you can get more of the illusion of grass. But I was like, I was in over my head, you guys. I really did not know what to do for those. And then I got into the buildings, and you can see from the picture, the houses look like literally, when I drew the one buildings, they look like a child drew them. And so, you know what? I don't feel bad talking about this, and I don't feel bad about showing you guys that art. It is kind of embarrassing for me because they came out really bad, I think, in my opinion, especially the bridge. They all look really childish and cartoony, but they look like that because I don't know what I'm doing, right? I wouldn't look at a child's drawing and be like, oh, that sucks. It's not realistic at all. They don't know what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. So the drawings came out really, really bad. And so, really, to protect my ego, that's why I started to do these figures, because I was like, am I terrible at art now? Do I suck at everything now? And so I was like, do some figures to restore confidence in yourself. And actually, I feel like these figures didn't come out as good as they usually would, just because I did do these after my confidence was shaken by those landscapes and cityscapes and that bridge drawing. And it was like really, I was like, my heart was like beating like crazy. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like everything is terrible now. So if you guys ever like do a really bad drawing and your confidence is really shaking, you're like, oh, maybe I suck. Do something that's in your comfort zone to re-up your ego, to like re-up your confidence. Okay, you don't suck. You're learning something new, and maybe you just need to try again at a later time. Just re-up your confidence really quick so you don't lose motivation. That's what I had to do to protect my ego, because I was like, oh my god, this is really bad. So I think I have to change the way that I approach drawing landscapes, cityscapes, whatever, because obviously I don't know what I'm doing, and I feel like going straight into timed drawings maybe is not the way for me. I think maybe I should plan out two or three specific pictures that I want to draw and do them a little bit more detailed, just because I'm trying to learn, So first I think I need to study the forms a little bit more than I could do just going straight in with time studies. So it's okay that they came out bad. We just have to change our approach a little bit, and that's okay. So talking a little bit about these figures specifically that I'm doing today, usually I use line of action, you guys know that, but I used line of action for those other drawings that I did, and I was like, I can't use it anymore. It's like I ruined it for me today. So I actually went on Pinterest and I found some poses. I didn't download them to put up as reference for you guys, just because I wasn't planning on really talking about them too much in this video. Like I said, I was planning on talking about how I fucked up those landscapes. So I didn't grab any reference for you guys. So sorry if you like these poses are cool and you wanted to see the references. They're on Pinterest somewhere in the ether. So maybe if you just type in, I think I just typed in dynamic poses, or just typed in poses, or maybe they're just on my homepage. I can't remember. But yeah, so I just drew these up real quick. Like I said, they're not the best that I've ever drawn, but there's things to like about them. That one in the bottom left, I feel like captures a little bit of that energy. And I feel like, yeah, I feel like it looks pretty good. I didn't really draw all of it. Like I think she was holding like not a bat, but she was holding something. And I just like the way the hands came out, like quote unquote hand, the fingers to show that her fingers are wrapped around something. I like that. And I kind of like the one that I'm currently working on, because that pose was really like crazy when I was looking at the reference. I was like, what is this? Why are they posed like that? But it was actually pretty fun to draw. So, and the only one that I really kind of sort of don't like is the one on the right. Like this, that's just the face. Yeah, I didn't really like that one. I felt like it was a really cool pose, but it's really more of like a reference for more of a finished piece than it is for like a figure study. It's not really figure study. It's like it was like a face. I was like, I kind of really want to draw that. What I should have done was I should have just like took a picture of it, or I should have downloaded it and just saved it for later. But but yeah, at first I really didn't want to do anything complicated, which is why I started with that priest drawing. I really typically don't like to do references when I'm doing studies with like a lot of clothes on, just because I'm not trying to learn how to draw clothes. I'm trying to draw figures, but obviously a lot of figures are going to be clothed, or like I'm not fully nude ones. I mean, I don't really care. Like it's like an artistic sort of thing where you're like, I don't really care about nudity. Like I'm not thinking about it like that. And so like I don't care if the figures are nude or if they just have a little bit of clothes on. I don't really like when they have like really heavy amount of clothes. That's because I feel like it's harder to see the shape of the body. But on Pinterest, obviously everybody has clothes on. So I was like, I had to draw it on the clothes. And so also when they wear clothes, the shapes can get a little bit confusing, because the way that the clothes fold, it kind of changes the shape of like the leg or like the arm or whatever. And so you kind of have to draw around that. I could have drawn them with their clothes on, but I was like, that's not really the point of this study, is to draw the clothes, it's to draw the body. And so when their figure is clothed, you kind of really have to like squint your eyes kind of and like imagine what their body looks like, the shape of their body looks like through their clothes, I guess, which makes me kind of feel like a weirdo when I think of it that way. But it's purely for artistic reasons, not because I'm like weird. Overall, I think that these figures, even though they're not the best figures I've ever drawn, I think they did their job in rebuilding my art confidence a little bit. I don't feel so discouraged as I did when I was doing those landscapes, like I suck at everything and that I should just quit and give up. I've talked about this with you guys before. I'm trying to build up my confidence in myself so that way I don't feel bad. But really, honestly, that really shook me a lot. I was really freaking out and I was stressed out a lot after doing those. And so I feel like if you guys are like me and you're trying something new and you're like, oh gosh, I'm in over my head. I really don't know what to do with this. Like this is too much. I would stop doing what you're doing, take a step back, draw something you're more used to, and then return to those things later in a capacity after you're like, I don't know what's not working. And after you think about it a little bit and you figure out what's not working, switch up your approach. right? I'm switching up my approach because it obviously was not working for me, and it was making me not uncomfortable, but it was making me like feel bad basically, and like I couldn't do it, and like I shouldn't even be trying, and all these negative thoughts were like coming into my head as I was doing them. And so I was like, this is not conducive to a learning environment. If I think that I'm stupid, I'm not going to be able to learn, right? And I have to think about myself not as being dumb, but as struggling just a little bit. It's okay to struggle a little bit, right? So yeah, just take a step back and reevaluate your approach. So I'm glad that I did that. Anyway, thanks for spending this time with me. I'll go ahead and see you guys in the next one. Bye.